What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from Scalar Learning. And today on Wednesdays, of course, now we're doing ISEE Middle Level Math every Wednesday at 11 a.m. So welcome back. I'm just going to do a quick... All right, my sound check is going, and we are off. All right, here we go. Let's just make sure we're good here. All right, let's do it. So last week was the first week that I did this, and it was all about the quantitative reasoning section from the practice test. That is the official practice test. So I wrote ERB. I hope that didn't confuse people, but that is the ERB is the company that makes the ISEE, and they've released one practice test over the years in the existence of the test. So it's the one that I often have students start with. And so what I'm doing for last week and this week is I'm going over the math sections in their entirety. And now if you're new to my live streams, the way I do it is I solve everything in real time, meaning you have a certain time limit on this test, and I'm going to adhere to those time restrictions, solve this without a calculator, just as you would have to do on the real test. And then we'll check the answers at the end. So it's essentially, it's meant to be an authentic experience. So you can see that the way that I'm working out the problems actually works in the timed conditions. And it is authentic. Now, usually I like to do these problems for the first time on the fly. This test is so old and it's been around for so long. I've done it many times. So I do know this fairly well. I'm just going to quickly pull up the time limits. I think because it's a little different than the actual ISEE on this practice test, I think they give you less time. Let me double check. And I don't know why it came out a little blurry in the screenshots, but hopefully it should still be legible. This is the test document that I'm pulling it from. So 36 minutes, 42 questions in 36 minutes. So we're going to go set a timer right now for 36 minutes. All right. And without further ado, let's do it. Okay. All right, first, what is the sum of 9,876 and 6,789? Straight up addition problem. 5, 15, 16, 15, 16, 16, 16, 6, 6, 5. This guy, D. Boom. Number 2, which expression is equal to 20? This is order of operations. So, this is not coming through. Hold on. I can't really read that symbol. That really came up blurry. Let's go to the original document here. If I closed it, oh shoot. I think I closed it. Back to this. All right, here it is, question 1. Okay, so we'll just quickly analyze it here. Which one's equal to 20? So 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4 is 19. That's wrong. Here we do this first 9, so this is 3 times 9, 27. It's B. Okay, so 3 times 9 is 27 minus 7 is B. I'm going to leave this open now in case we need it again. Oh, yeah, there it is. It's right there. Okay, so now we've got B. Next, the circle shown is divided into equal parts. Which part of the circle is shaded? So look, this is a spatial reasoning problem. I'm just going to draw lines across, and we can see this much more easily. That, wait a minute, it's divided in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. 2 out of 8 are shaded, which we can then reduce that as a fraction to 1/4. Next, which number has no positive factors except itself in 1? This is meaning which number is a prime number. 8 is not prime, 15 is not prime, 27 is not prime, 31 is prime. This is divisible by 3, and 9, 3 and 5, and 2 and 4. Next, use the diagram and the balanced scale to answer the question. If 5 of these guys minus 2 of these guys, oh sorry, I think that's an equal sign. Man, this really did not come out well. Hold on, let's double check. Yeah, so 5 of the circles equals 2 of the triangles, and 1 triangle is 15. What is the value of this guy? So if I think about it, what they're saying is, here, I'll write it out. So 2 triangles equals 5 circles. 2 triangles equals 5 circles. So if one of these triangles is 15, that means 2 of them is 30 equals 5 circles. Therefore, 5 times what equals 30? 5 times 6. So each circle is 6. Next, Elida scored an average of 10 points in each of the 5 rounds of a game. So she got 10, 10, 10, 10. If her highest score was 18 and her lowest score was 12. Sorry, if her highest score was 18. Oh, sorry, and the range of her scores was 12, excuse me. So that means the range is, if I subtract the highest score by the range value, I'll get the lowest score. 18 minus 12 is 6. So our lowest score was 6. Next. The students in Mr. Bird's class check the hourly temperatures of the school year, display the results in the graph. What is the difference between the highest and the lowest temperatures recorded? Here's highest, which looks like about 70. And here's the lowest, which is about 58. So 70 minus 58 is 12. Okay, next, oops. If P equals 2 times length plus W, that's perimeter. What is P when L is 18? So it's plug and chug. Uh-oh. P equals 2 times 18 plus 10. We're just plugging those values in. 18 plus 10 is 28. Times 2 is 56. Next, Mr. Garcia asked his students to estimate the answer for this expression. Now look. You can actually solve this and multiply it out, but it's going to be pretty crazy if you do that. Instead, let's round these to 90 and 90. Much easier. 90 times 90 is like 9 times 9, which is 81. But 90 times 90, we add 2 zeros because there's a 0 in 90 and another 0 in the other 90. Then we divide that by 800. Now, we could estimate, this will go in about 11 times, but the closest answer, because it says closest estimate, is 10. Right? Much easier to just think, well, what's 8,000 divided by 800? Pretty obvious that's 10. Next, Anne and Daryl made this. So it's very important. Read those instructions. If it says estimate, estimate. There's a reason why they're saying that to save you time. Anne and Daryl made the table shown to keep track of their savings for 4 weeks. After week 1, how much did Daryl save each week? So here's week 1. So then he saved 90 cents there. Here he saved another 90 cents. You see that 570 to 660. So I could subtract these, but I can kind of calculate it because $1 up from this would be 580, but it's 570. So he's saving 90 cents each week. Next. Which is equivalent to this expression. All right, order of operations. I believe that's a plus. Let's double check in the actual thing. Wow, it really came out just so bad. There we go. Yeah, so 48 plus 52, we add those, that's 100. Here, I'm going to show you how we can use order. We can kind of manipulate this to make it easier. So it's 60 times 100 over 3. I could multiply these, but easier yet, I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to divide that. Since this is one big multiplication strand, I can just divide the 60 by 3, and that becomes 20 times 100. The 3 is now gone. 20 times 100 is 2,000. Today, Josh's homework assignment increased by 1.5 times the amount of homework he was assigned yesterday. So it increased by 1.5. By what percent did his homework increase? Okay. 1.5 times is 150, but wait a minute. Increased by, no, I'm sorry. 1.5 times. Oh, these always trip me up because, so his homework increased by 1.5 times. So it's like, if it was 100 minutes, it's now 150. So actually, no, sorry. It increased by 50% because it increased by taking 50% of the original and adding it to the new one. So that's one. The wording gets a little confusing here. We'll double check in the answers that I've interpreted that right. But I'd say, hey, it's increased. Oh, wait, no. No, because if I would say, now I'm confused because if I would say it's increased by, or it's gone up, it's 1.5 times what it used to be, then it's definitely 50% up. But now it's saying it's increased by 1.5 times, so I'm almost tempted to go back to 150%. Whoops. So let's go there, and we'll check in the answers as I just get that wording gets a little confusing, and then we'll reanalyze it. Okay, in this figure, a circle is inscribed within the square, so it's 6, which means the radius is half of that, which is 3. What is the area of the shaded region of the circle? And again, area of a circle is pi r squared. So my radius is 3, and I just plug it into that equation. So it's pi times 3 squared, which is 9 pi. But we want the shaded part. So what are we doing? We're taking the area of this whole square, and we're cutting out this circle, meaning we're subtracting the circle. What's the area of the whole square? Well, it's a 6 by 6. So length times width, 6 times 6, right, is 36 minus 9 pi. And there we go, which is D. Next, there are 4 more girls than boys. 4 more girls. That means the girls equals the boys plus 4. 4 more girls plus boys. I'm immediately turning it into an equation. If there are 8 boys in the class, that means the girls equals 12. What fraction of the class is boys? Well, there are 8 boys out of a total of 12 girls and 8 boys, which is 20 students. So it's 8 out of 20. Or 2 out of 5. If I divide both by 4, I get 2/5, which is the thing didn't come through. Is this. Next. Number of calories Y an adult can burn by jumping rope depends on the number of hours spent jumping rope according to this formula. Y equals 250 plus X plus 10. What is the meaning of 10 in this formula? 10 is our Y-intercept, meaning at 0, when you haven't spent any minutes jumping rope, like if I plug 0 in for X, I'll have burned 10 calories, which means it's my calories that I'm burning for just chilling and doing nothing. When 0 hours are spent jumping rope, 10 calories are burned. Yes, that's always my Y-intercept, or my value of Y when X equals 0. On a map, 4 centimeters equals 100 kilometers. Okay, so this is on the map. I'm already setting up a proportion. 4 centimeters equals, in real life, 100. Now, if I want to figure out, it says if 2 C's are 10 centimeters apart, again on the map, what is their actual distance? That's what I'm trying to solve for. And now I've set up a proportion. Now we're in really good shape because I can just cross multiply. I could reduce this fraction, but let's not even. So I'll show you without doing that because you still get the same answer. 10 times 100, this multiplies down. We get 1,000 equals 4 times X, which is 4X. We divide both sides by 4, and we get X equals 250. There we go. Next. 17, according to the scattered plot, how much would a person expect a 1,000 square foot home to cost? Here we go. And we're going to think of a line of best fit. So I'm feeling like it's going to be right in this zone. Like, here's my line of best fit. So maybe like 85,000. Okay, and I see they say 80,000. 80,000 is my closest to what my line of best fit is. So maybe it's a little off. But 60 would be down here. That's way too low. 100 is, I think, too high. You know, it's in the zone, but it would be like a little high. So I'm saying 80,000. Next. 18, a bag contains 1 green, 2 red, 2 blue. A marble is selected at random and replaced before a second is selected. Which sentence describes complementary events? Complementary events are events that, taken together, account for the entire universe of possibilities. So, for example, we have a green, red, and blue, okay? So, essentially, we want to capture every single way within these events to get all 3 of those marbles. So it says first marble is red, second marble is green. That leaves out the blue. First marble is blue, second is blue. That's only blue, leaves out red and green. First marble is green, second is blue or red. This right here takes into account potentially getting green, blue, or red. First marble is green, second marble is red or green. This leaves out blue. Okay, hope that makes sense. Next, what is the value of, let me just look at the real deal here, 19. 3/5, so it's divided. Okay, by 1 2/3 equals n. Oh yeah, I can see that. So 3 and 1/5 divided by 1 2/3 equals n. First, if I'm gonna divide fractions, convert it to improper fractions. So that's 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16 over 5 divided by 1 times 3 plus 2 is 5/3. Then we do keep, change, flip. 16/5 times, flip that to 3/5, and we get 3 times 16 is 48 over 25. I can pull 125 out of there, so I have 1 23 25ths. I'm just reducing that fraction, turning it into a mixed number, and it's b. Next, what is the ratio of the length of side triangle ABC to DEF? Well, let's check it out. A corresponds to D, B corresponds to E. See how the order is linked up here? So that tells you, boom. Therefore, the ratio is, so it's AC 3 to the corresponding side FD, which is 9. It's a ratio of 1 to 3. 1/3, or you can also write it as this or this, all the same. In the equation, okay, that's written incorrect. Again, I can't read it, so let's look up here. In the equation, n over 24 equals 14 over 21. N over 24 equals 14 over 21. Look, we can cross multiply. Before I do, to make life easier, I'm going to simplify this fraction. It's divisible by 7, so it becomes 2 over 3. And now let's cross multiply, 3. It's going to be 3n equals 2 times 24 is 48. Divide both sides by 3. Variable isolation, right? Inverse operations. N equals 16. And that's what they're looking for here. Next, what is the slope of this line? Again, I got to check. 4x minus 7y equals negative 14. 4x minus 7y equals negative 14. Okay, so to get the slope, what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate y, put this into slope-intercept form, and then we can figure out the slope based on whatever value is then in front of the x. We can't do it now, but so first we have to get into slope-intercept. I'm going to move this entire term over like so, and now I have negative 7y equals negative 4x minus 14. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. We have to completely isolate y, excuse me. Now I have y equals negative divided by negative is positive, plus, and then that becomes 2. There's my slope. It's positive 4/7, which is option A. There we go. 24. Missy conducted a survey to find out how many of her classmates had dog, cats, or fish. She displayed the results in a circle graph. All right, which data corresponds to the sample of pet owners? Now, cat owners 40, dog owners 50, fish owners 10. So let's see, dog owners 10, 5 cat, 5. Okay, so check it out. Here's how we can pretty quickly dismiss this. The total is 20 for these. 10 out of 20 is 50%, so the dog owners works. Cat is 5 out of 20. That's not 40%. 5 out of 20 is 25% or 1/4. So that's wrong. And this is wrong too. Look, it's showing that the fish and the cat are the same. They're not the same, right? So we can easily dismiss that. This one says 8 to, this one looks all right. So again, it's a total of 20. 10 out of 20 is 50. That works. 8 out of 20 is actually 40. Okay, because if you reduce that 8 out of 20, it reduces to 4 out of 10, which is the same as 40%. 2 out of 20 is the same as 1 out of 10, which is 10%. So all three of those work. Boom. The expression, let's see what it actually looks like. AC times CB minus AB. AC. Oops. Times CB minus A over B is equivalent to which of these expressions? All right. Hold on. I need to actually take a screenshot because it's just too hard otherwise. It's just so blurry. It's not working for me. Okay. So we're going to take this picture here. Hopefully this will look better. All right, this looks much better. So let's just keep it here for now, and I'll move it in a second. So we've got, now if I distribute, let's see, BC. Okay, so let's look at these two first where they've combined everything. I can tell you that this is wrong and this is wrong, but this is definitely wrong because if I multiply across everything, where's the B? Right? There's supposed to be a B in the denominator, so I know that's out. Now let's multiply and see what happens. We're going to distribute. So this becomes AC, right? This just jumps over, multiplies there and there. This becomes AC over BC minus a squared over bc. Common denominators, we can combine them as ac minus a squared over bc. This is different from this. This is 2a, this is a squared. Because of that discrepancy, I know this is wrong. Now we have to figure out how or one of these may be right. So this is really difficult, but look what they've done. For both of these, they've factored out a over b. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to take this that I've created, and I'm going to factor a over b out, and I'm going to see if I either get this or this. So factor a over b out, and what do I have left? Okay. Actually, no. Let's go back to this scenario. It's actually easier if we do it from up here. So now, I deleted something. Okay, so now I'm going to factor out a over b from this. So a over b. So from this we have c over c minus an a from a squared is just an a, and then we pulled the b out from that and we got c. C over c is 1. So it's a over b times 1 minus a over c. And there's our answer, which is D. I'm sorry, C. 1 minus a over c, not 1 over c. Okay, so we're going to put it in here. Now I'm going to erase this and all this stuff. All right, moving on. 17 minutes left. Tom's soccer coach has a rule that the team cannot play when the temperature is 22 degrees. Given the current temperature is below, how many degrees must the temperature increase? So it needs to be 22. So it needs to come up here. And right now it looks like it's at -5, okay? So we need to go from -5 to 22. So first, to get up to 0, we have to travel 5 degrees. And then from 0 to 22, we obviously have to travel 22. So it needs to travel a total of 27 degrees. This is a little bit of negative stuff going on. Negative integers, positive integers. Next, the equation. Again, let's see. Equation x minus 7 plus 2 equals y. X minus 7. X minus 7 plus 2 equals y. What is the value of x minus y? That's what it said. Okay. So let's solve it. Now, all we have to do, first of all, I'm going to combine these like terms, right? This is not a 7. This is a -7. What's -7 plus 2? It's -5. Okay. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I am going to subtract. I'm going to add 5 to the other side, so I get x equals y plus 5. Then I'm going to subtract y from both sides. Now watch how nice this is. I'll get x minus y equals 5. And that's what it's asking for, x minus y. We don't have to solve for x, don't have to solve for y. Boom. That's it. Okay. Let's move over here. We're more than halfway through now. The figure shows the first 5 elements of a dot pattern. What is the 6th element of this pattern? Look, each time it lands, one more, one more, one more, one more, and then the next one's going to be like this. One more, which is C. Spatial reasoning is what I call those. Next, of the 45% of a class that passed the oral part of exam, of the 45, 2/3 passed the written part. What fraction of the class passed both parts? Meaning, they're taking 2/3 of, I'm going to write 45% as a fraction of this fraction. Before I calculate this, I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to divide top and bottom by 5, and I get 9 over 20. So 2/3 of, meaning multiply, 9 over 20. Cross simplify, 3, 1, 1, 10. 1 times 3, and then 1 times 10, 3/10. Boom, done. There we go. Next, the graph shows the water level in each of 4 different water tanks over an 8-hour period. Okay, cool. Which water tank has the greatest hourly increase? It's this guy. Look, it's shooting up. Hourly increase meaning greatest slope, and it's water tank number 1. All right, that's all they're asking. On a timely basis, which one's going up the fastest? You notice that 3 is decreasing, 4 isn't even changing. So we're only choosing between 2 and 1. But 1 is by far faster. Okay, if 3/5 of a bucket can be filled in 1 minute, how many minutes will it take to fill the rest of the bucket? Now look, we can use a bar model for this actually. So check this out. We're going to split it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 3/5 of the bucket, 1, 2, 3 can be filled in 1 minute, or 60 seconds, which means each one of these fifths are filled in 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. That means to fill these other two, it should take another 20 and another 20, right? So that is 100 seconds, all right? But how do we represent that in a minute? It's 100 seconds, and then we convert it back to a minute divided by 60, okay? Which is the same as 10 divided by 6, 1, bring down at 0. 6 goes into 46 times, and so on and so forth. It'll be a repeating decimal, 36, 4, so 1.67. Next. A spinner has 3 equal size sections that are colored red, blue, yellow. A number cube says 6 size number 1 through 6. Jake wants to find the probability of spinning red on the spinner and rolling a number that is a factor of 6 on the cube. Factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6, okay? Which is shaded in a way to help him find the answer. So we need to find one where only 1, 2, 3, and 6 are shaded. Look, that 1, 2, 3, and 6 are not shaded here. But we want to know spinning red and rolling a number. This looks like it, right? Because I got 1, 2, 3, 6, and only the reds shaded, and that's what we're looking for. This, we've got the other colors, that's out. This one, we're not including 1 and 3. This one, we're missing the 6s and all. This one's crazy. So there we go, it's A. Next, use the diagram shown to answer the question. These markings indicate that these sides are equal, meaning it looks like an isosceles trapezoid. And I would say D. That's all it's asking. Which is equivalent to the following equation? Let me make sure I'm reading it right. 34. X equals, all right, you know what? I'm going to take a screenshot of this because here we go. We'll just put it off to the side and then here like this. Check it out. Which of the following is equivalent? So we're going to have to look at these and see what have they done here. It looks like here they kind of isolate y. All right, I'm going to have to figure this out. What's the best way? 2y. Oh, okay, I got an idea. In all of these, I'm going to isolate x and see if I get this. Here, I isolate x by multiplying both sides by 2, and I get this, which is definitely not y over 2 minus 3, so that's out. Here, I'd subtract y. I get 2x equals 3 minus y, and then I divide by 2, divide by 2. This is not this, so this one's definitely out. Here, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to get rid of this. And then I'm going to subtract y, because this cancels out. So it's x plus y equals 3 over 2. And then subtract y. That won't work. So it's got to be d. But now let's prove it. This is 1/2 y, which is the same as y over 2 equals 3 plus x. And then I subtract 3 from both sides. And I get x equals y over 2 minus 3. So it's D. Okay, I'm always trying to look for shortcuts like that in terms of whenever they say equivalent expression, those are a little bit harder problems because you don't know exactly, they can have all these weird formations and it's a lot. You have to test out the options. It's really quite a pain sometimes. And that's how you operate that. Next. 35, Rita is plotting a square on the coordinate system. Okay, so we got a coordinate here, here, here. You know what? I'm going to take a screenshot because the precision matters. We only got 9 minutes left, so we're a little tight. Let's see. Here we go. Boom. Boom. Okay, I'll remove this in a second. Actually, why don't we just keep it up here? What does it matter, right? It looks a lot better now. Okay, cool. Next, 3 of the square's vertices are designated as points R. What are the coordinates of the 4th vertex of the square? I'm feeling like the square is going to be like this. I'm not going to spend a ton of time verifying it, but this looks to me like 0, -3, right? 0, -3. Yeah, it's got to be, because that's at 3, that's at -3, and this makes a nice little diamond, or which is also, it's a square in this case. That's it. I'm not even going to look at it anymore. So that's B. Next, what is the value of this expression? I think these are all being added. So we can do a big addition strand here. 0.35, 0.2, 1 point. Oh, sorry. I got to line up the dots. 0.2, 1.4, 2.78. Boom. So that's 11, carry the 1, 6, 10, 17, carry the 1, 4, 4.7. What? Wait, is one of these subtract? Hold on. Oh, 5. Sorry, 4.73. That's an 8, not a 6. There we go. The surface area of a cube is 216 feet. What is the volume of the cube? Okay, so check it out. Surface area. We want to think there's 6 sides of a cube. If I were to like kind of draw this through, there's 6 sides. So each face has a certain area, and then times 6 gives you 216. 216 divided by 6, I know, is 36, okay? Which means that an area of one side is 36, which means that the cube has to be 6 by 6 because it's all equal sides. 6 by 6 gives me that area. And then what's the volume of the cube? Well, all the sides are equal, so 6 times 6 times 6. Guess what? That happens to be the same thing, which is 216 cubic feet. It's a strange one. Okay, which expression is the equivalent expression shown? Again, let's take a screenshot. 38. Let's see, I don't even think I could see the x's. Okay, I'm going to solve it here, and then I'll move it afterwards. So this is square root of 81 is 9, so it's 6 times. See how I'm evaluating it piece by piece? Over 18x equals square root of 9 is 3. Now I can straight away cross these out. That becomes 1, that becomes 2. Because this is multiplying the whole thing, I can't do the 3 and the 9. It's got to be whatever's applied to everything. The denominator is now gone. Now it's 2 times these guys distribute, and I get, oh, they leave it. Actually, they don't even distribute. So it's 2 times 9 plus 18xb. Okay, so now let's move it. 2 times 9 plus 18xb. All right, the triangles are similar. What is the value of x? Let's set up a proportion straight away. Big to big, 8 to 40, is the same as little to little, 6 to x. Yeah, I just match it up like that. Let's reduce this to 1 over 5 and then cross multiply. 1 times x is x equals 5 times 6 is 30, and there we go. Next, 5 minutes and 49 seconds left to do 3 problems. Not bad, except for these are usually the harder problems at the end. So it's not amazing. What type of transformation was performed? This is a reflection. Okay, it's reflected across the y-axis. See how it's almost like you can think about this as a mirror, and we've got reflected sides on either side. A rotation is like, you know, you rotate it that way, kind of as you're turning it. A slide would be, it would be the same shape, like it would be like this over here too. And then a turn is, yeah, would be like just turning it. So it's got definitely a reflection. Next, the playmakers are planning their summer production. Profit is revenue minus cost. Profit equals revenue minus cost. The production will cost between $2,500 and $3,000. So let's just say $2,750. And then the production will run for 14 nights with an expected audience range of 100 to 200. So let's say 150 per night. If the tickets cost $8 each, so 150 people times 8 times 14 nights, so that's what I'm making, and that's my cost. What is the expected profit per production? So a lot of not very nice numbers, and I could have chosen easier numbers, but I try to choose ones in the middle so I can be the most accurate. And if you're on a time crunch, you know, maybe you could choose, well, it's difficult because you do want it to be in the middle somewhat. So you could do 8 times 200 and then, you know, maybe go that way. But I'm going to roll like this. This is actually not that bad. This is 800 plus 400 is 1,200 times 14, 0084, 0021, 861, 16,800 minus that 2,750 And we get 0, 7, 10, 5, 0, 4, 1. 14,050, so 14,000 bucks. Okay, one problem left. So I can tell you we have plenty of time. 3 minutes is more than enough, 3.5 minutes. What is the equation for the line perpendicular to RS at 10.5? You know what, let's take the proper screenshot here because we want to see more details. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Whoops. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. What is the equation for a line perpendicular? First of all, what is the slope of this? Let's look at the change down. We're going down by 9, and we're going across by 22.5 or something. I don't know. Why is it in the middle like that? Yeah, 22.5, which is the same as negative 18. I'm going to get rid of that decimal, so I'm going to double both. So it's like negative 18 over 45. Then we can divide by 9, and it becomes negative 2/5. Okay, so my slope of this line is negative 2/5. Perpendicular to this is going to be the negative reciprocal of that, which is 5 over 2, right? We flip those and make it positive. So right off the bat, these slopes are wrong. It's either C or D. Now is the question of, is it plus 20 or minus 20? Okay, well, where does it say it's perpendicular to it? It says at 10.5. So here's 10.5 right there, okay? And so now what does this look like? This looks like this. Now, I can come up with the equation for this line. I could if I wanted to. I know it's perpendicular. I have a coordinate. But look, we got two options. It's between 20 and negative 20. A y-intercept of 20 would be like way up top, even higher than that. How is that even possible? But negative 20, right? Perpendicular, again, means it forms a right angle, right? So it's kind of like the corner of a desk or things like that, 90-degree angle. You can tell it's going to be way down in the negatives because, look, here is the y-axis. My y-intercept is down here. So it's definitely negative 20. And so we can answer D. Okay? So I'm going to stop the clock now, and we're going to go back and check all the answers. Like I said, the only one that was a little iffy was that percentage one, because that wording gets tricky. I mean, you want my opinion, I think it was a poorly worded problem because it wasn't clear, but we'll see what they say. Let me just quickly jump over here and see if we have any questions yet. No, we're good. All right, so let's see. Go to the answers. You know, this is a guide called What to Expect on the Middle Level ISEE, and this is where I'm pulling this from. So it's free. You can search for it and download it. But okay. All right, and I'll zoom out a little bit. There we go. All right, let's get the red correcting pen of justice. Okay, so we got, it looks like D, B, B, D, C. D, B, B, D, C. I think that was right? D, C. And then the last one's C as well. Okay. Cool. Next we have 7 through 10. B, D, B, A. B, D, B, A. Next we have 11 is B, C, D, A. B, C, D, A. Oh, look, I got the percentage one right. So anyways, I guess my interpretation then was correct. It was just a straight up conversion of 1.5 to 150%. And usually when we do that, you know, if they are saying, hey, 1.5 times is becoming, or 1.5 times greater, to convert that directly to a percentage, we just move the decimal 2 times over. But it's just that wording was a little confusing to me, because usually they'll say something like, they won't say increase 1.5 times. They'll say it's, his homework load is 1.5 times as much as it used to be, which that's actually only a 50% increase. That's where they get you with that wording. This was actually a little gentler, which threw me for a loop, because I'm used to it being more devious wording. Okay, 15 is C. 16. Oh, I didn't answer this. Shoot. Why didn't I not answer this? Oh, I said 250. I just didn't circle it. Let me circle it. Okay, let's see. 16 is B. All right, good. Next, 17. CCBAB. CCB. Okay. And then 20 and 21 is AB. Okay. And then 22 and 23 is AA. I didn't circle this. Did I not do? I didn't do this one. I missed one. All right, let me solve it really quickly. Let me start that time, keep that timer going if I still have it, just so make sure we do it in the limits. Boom. Okay. Joey has 4 pairs of pants. Hold on. Shoot. Right? Okay. Joey has 4 pairs of pants, 6 shirts of 2 pairs of shoes, only 1 favorite pair of pants, 1 shirt, and 1 shoe. Randomly selects an outfit. Okay. Randomly, we want the favorite one. He's only got 1 of each, so it's 1. The probability is the probability of choosing the favorite pants, which is 1/4, times the probability of the favorite shirts, which is 1/6, times the probability of the favorite shoes, which is 1/2. So you take the individual probabilities of each and multiply, not add, multiply them together. That's joint probability. So it's 4 times 6, which is 24, times 2, which is 48. So it's 1/48. Okay, I'm going to pause it just in case I missed another question or something. Zoom out. And I didn't, not that it matters, I suppose, but I didn't look at that. Okay, so I did get it right. But yes, okay, there we go. 23 is A. That's how you do it. 24. Okay, so we got B, C, D, C. B, C, D, C. There we go. All right. Let's zoom out and let's move this whole thing down. Actually, I think I can do it at this level. So then, no, a little zoom in. So now we need 28, 29. Okay, so CBAB. CBA. Oh, 31. Did I get it wrong? Shoot, what did I do? Oh, I did make a mistake. Shoot, so remember when I said it was 1.67 total? Now I missed a little word here. Check it out. This is a good lesson. It said how many meals will take to fill the rest of the bucket. So it's actually just 40. See this? It's the 40 seconds. So it's 40 over 60, which is 0.67. It's this guy. Okay. So yeah, I totally missed that. All right, but that's how you do that one. It's still, you can set up the bar model and operate the same way and solve the same way, but got to read those carefully. Okay, next. 32 is ADDB. ADDB. 36. DDBB. DDBB. Right? And then 40 or 41, 42. ABD. ABD. All right. So there we go. That is the full math achievement section. Now, people ask me all the time. I'm going to just quickly see if we got any questions going yet. People ask me all the time, what's the difference between the math achievement section and the quantitative reasoning? How do I study for this one versus that one? Look, at the end of the day, these two sections, the math contained on each section is essentially the same. The only big difference is if you look at my video that I did last week where I covered the quantitative reasoning section, it has an additional feature called Quantitative Comparisons, where what they'll do is they'll give you two columns and they'll say, we've got column A, column B. And I'll say, column A is 2 cubed. In column B, I've got something, I'm just making this up, something like this. And your choices are A, B, C, or D. If you say A, that means A is bigger. If you say B, that means whatever's in column B is bigger. If you say C, the two are equal. And if you say D, here's the devious part, it means there's not enough information to answer the question, which makes it, that makes it tricky. Because sometimes if you can't solve it, you're inclined to just say D. But anyways, that's the only difference. And in this one, how would you evaluate it? This does become -8, but this also is -8. This minus outside means we do 2 cubed and then add on the negative. This is actually -2 cubed, but that still ends up being the same. So here we would choose C. Now that's the only difference. You want to get practice with that question type, but in terms of the math contained, the math concepts contained on both sections is essentially equivalent. There's no real distinguishing barrier in terms of the level of content. All right, so that's it for today's live stream. I hope you guys are liking this middle level ISEE material, and I hope it's connecting with you. And if you're a parent, I hope it's connecting with your students. Again, this is a very difficult test, so I wish you all the best of luck. Make sure to prep early and prep hard. If you want other resources, so next week, now I'm done with this test in terms of going through the math portions of the official test. Next week, I'm going to be diving into my favorite resource for middle level ISEE material, which is created by a company called Test Innovators, and the website is ISEE Practice. I think it's ISEE Practice Test. Wait, let me double check. ISEEpracticetest.com, and they have 6 full-length practice tests, and not only 6 full-length practice tests, they have a whole question bank that's by category, which I love what they do. I've been using that company's materials for 4 years now, I think, or 3 years, and you can figure out the things that students are getting wrong, and then you can assign them these question banks where it's just a lot of repetition of the same type of problems with minor changes until they just, boom, they have it down and they're drilled and they're proficient and solid. So it's an amazing resource. If you found this video helpful, please click that like button. And if you want to see more from the Scale It Learning channel for all your math test prep needs, click that subscribe button. Last but not least, don't forget to check in on Fridays where we have general study tips for everybody. We just released 2 in the last 2 weeks. We got another awesome one coming out this Friday for any level, for any class, just to optimize your mind and make yourself into the ultimate studying and academic machine. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.